Hey, Malcolm. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you been?
Good, good. Listen, Norm was on yesterday talking about the on the back of your jerseys, replacing it with those 29 options or whatever. I
hmm
mean, he was kind of out on his own there yesterday talking about it, and I'm getting the impression though that he's not alone in that opinion that there weren't enough options, that maybe this wasn't handled quite right. I'm wondering if you could speak a little bit to that.
yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I definitely understand the NBA trying to, give us a platform, give us our voice, use their platform. But at the same time, I feel like limiting the options is kind of like, Norm said a cookie cutter. Like it's a little bit of a censorship almost to, what we want to say. I mean, a lot of us smart guys, we're not going to say a bunch of reckless stuff, but some people have different points they want to get across. And, providing us our points to get across, it's not, you don't have all autonomy to do whatever you want.
Yeah. Did you decide on one? And if you did, what was the one that it replaced that you really wanted to go with?
I went with Black Lives Matter. I didn't continue to try to search for one once I figured out they couldn't, put your own out. I was really trying to think, because it is something important because it's what reflects your views and what your family thinks. I texted my family, I texted my friends, like, what do you think I should do, to put out a positive message or whatever type of message. But when they gave us a list, I chose Black Lives Matters. I mean, it's still a very important movement. It's still very important, to have that on you and recognize what's going on.
I got it. Now back to the court for a second, if you don't mind. Um, does it feel like the opportunity is there more for maybe a guy in your situation where you're not quite in that top seven in the rotation? Wherever you are after that, I mean, only Nick can tell us that for sure. But does it feel like there's more of an opportunity now for just because of the situation and sort of the uncertainty of everything?
I mean, that's definitely my mindset, always being ready for the opportunity when it comes, should it come. So, you know, everyone's been doing their work in the off season, and well, it's not even off season. That's the thing what we gotta get confused about. But during the hiatus, everyone's been doing their work. So, but I'm still trying to approach this as a new season, new opportunity, and whatever happened back then, everyone's got a reason. Lakers said they had some injuries. Different teams said they had some injuries. So everyone's starting fresh right now. So we're just going in this, win this first 8 games, and continue in the playoffs.
I wanted to ask you, you've kind of gone through this playoff run now twice. This will be your third time going through a situation like this. Do you find yourself in a leadership role with some of the other younger guys who might not know what to expect when playoffs come? And I know sometimes 5 or 6 of you might have to be working out together or playing the scout team for the first unit, things like that. Do you find yourself in a leadership role right now a little bit?
Yeah, I can see myself transitioning more into that role, just understanding all the little things that goes in, because when you get to the playoffs, when you get to the finals, it's every second you're on the court matters. Every practice matters. Every second in practice matters. So, getting the most out of that opportunity, no matter where you are in that position, is important. So, I mean, like you said, I've been in that role. I've played scout players, and it's definitely important that we keep that focused mentality going forward.
Hey, Malcolm, thanks for doing this. We spoke to Mark the other day, and he said racism is a worldwide problem, and he said it's kind of everywhere, including Europe. And as someone who lived there, I'm wondering kind of what your perspective on that is. Is that something you experienced living abroad in your career?
In my career personally, I would have to say not so much in Berlin. As far as Berlin, they everyone's aware of the history that they've had and all the things, but I feel like that's kind of what makes Berlin a special city. It's still one of my favorite cities to go to because of the level of understanding between people, between individuals, between different races, and I feel like that type of growth is what we need to start striving towards, of understanding everybody and not being selective. So personally, from my experience in Berlin, I mean, I definitely enjoyed my time there, and it was very positive and welcoming.
It sounds like you credit that to understanding their history. Am I
hmm
understanding you correctly? And is that something you think you'd like America to learn from, or Canada to learn from?
Yes, I mean, acknowledging what was wrong and what you did wrong, and not passing it off like it was ancient history. Like, that's a big step. There are monuments and there's things that are there is acknowledges of the mistakes that they made in the past, not commemorating, different war generals that, believed in slavery. So yes, I think we can definitely take some notes from that. I mean, definitely different situations, different types of oppressions, but certain similarities. But at the same time, acknowledgement and moving forward as a country is something that we need to do and we need to focus on.
Thank you.
Just kind of a follow-up to what Mike was asking. Norm told us that, like, if given the choice, he like what he would put on the back of his jersey. He said it would be "Am I next?" Would you be willing to share with us if you had like total choice, what you would put on the back of your jersey?
I was still formulating, what type of message I wanted to send. So I didn't finish it once they gave the list and that was the final cut. So, but I mean, I'm still not sure. I mean, there's plenty of options and there's very many ways that people feel oppressed. So I still haven't narrowed down all my options from what I would have done, but I'm sure it would have been impactful.
So we've heard a lot about a lot of guys, Norm, Fred, yourself, talking about history, understanding just ways to sort of address oppression and the current situation. Outside of how you've spoken and delivered that message externally, how have you seen a change inside the organization and how you guys communicate with each other?
Well, as far as, our team, making like a committee and trying to really address the issues for some long-term change, those are very impactful steps. We have meetings that we go into and try to figure out ways that we can use our platform, use the NBA's platform, use the owner's platform to try to make lasting change, whether that's, trainings, understanding the difference between diversity, inclusion, and equity compared to equality, and things like that, on how we can address problems within our neighborhood and use platforms to, reach beyond our neighborhood. So I definitely think the meetings that we've had have been very impactful, and the proactiveness of the organization in general is something that that a lot of organizations should be doing more of.